guys, it's time to move on. We talked about meat. We talked about making a menu. That'll save you money. Don't keep going to the store every other day. That makes you buy unnecessarily. So let's talk about bread. Another staple in families, bread. I don't know if it's cheaper to bake your own bread. I don't think it is. When I grew up, my mom would go to a bread store. I don't know if they exist anymore. Maybe some towns still have them. It used to be called a Wonder Bread store, and they would have like Hostess little dessert pies, and they'd have bread and bagels and the whole bakery. But anyway, it was called a bread store, and you would get bread cheaper at the bread store. We also would buy day old bread, which is less expensive than the brand new stuff. My mom taught me to always freeze bread. Guys, if you're not realizing there's a commonality in all this stretching a dollar, freezing. You make extra food for dinner, you freeze the leftovers. You buy like a family pack of chicken, you freeze the extra pieces that you don't need to cook for another meal. You buy loaves of bread, you freeze it. You buy manager special meat, you freeze it. If you don't have an extra freezer, you should get one, whether it's a trunk freezer or a side-by-side or it's just an individual. I don't care, but your freezer is going to be your best friend. Then when things go on sale, you buy it and you store it. I've had turkeys as old as a solid year. Okay. They were just as good. You can make things last a long time. Bread is great. If your bagels aren't cut them first, then freeze them. Okay. Cut them in half, then freeze them. That's a tip I learned from somebody. But basically, bread, you don't need hamburger buns. You don't need hot dog buns. We literally use flatbread for everything. Hot dog bun, we folded it up around the hot dog and ate it. We put the hot dog diagonal on the square piece of bread. Hamburgers we put on the flatbread. French toast, breakfast. I mean, we used flatbread for everything. We didn't pay extra for specialty bread. Now, the other thing is you might want to look. Sometimes like rye or pumpernickel may be a little cheaper than the bread you normally get. Look at some of the off brands. I'm a big fan of sourdough, but just kind of price it out and see who's the lowest price for the week and who you're going to pick up. But yeah, freezing bread is a definite key point. So and by the way, during this series, if you have any tips, if it's not related to bread, not related to meat, not related to menus, I don't care, anything on stretching a dollar, put it down below in the comments so we can all benefit. We're here to help everybody. That's what this video series is for. It's to get people thinking on the right path, okay? So once again, day old bread, freeze your bread. These are all things that can cut costs on bread. Once again, I don't know if making your bread is cheaper. I wouldn't expect it to be, but it might be. Who knows? Then you can make your own bread. But in the meantime, those are some of the things that I learned when I was a kid. And I used bread. I didn't pay extra for a hamburger bun in the shape of a hamburger bun. I would use flatbread for a hamburger, for a hot dog, for grilled cheese, for peanut butter and jelly, for breakfast, for everything. So once again, share the tips that you guys have. It's not just tips that I have, but share the tips that you learned growing up, because a lot of us grew up poor. I never felt that I was poor. It's weird, but I didn't realize I was poor until I grew up and my mom was long gone. I realized we were poor. My mom was so good. She wasn't a good cook. She did a few things good, but one thing she did good was always made sure there was meat on the table. She raised us boys, all three of us boys. We always had food on the table, and she always took care of us, and she always stretched a dollar. So I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Share your tips. This is how we're going to get through all this. Take care.